All right, so we're kind of lagging this week on getting our weekly recap in. So, yes, this is our recap for the Artist Way week 8. We are currently on week 9. I'm already toward the end of the week, anyways, but we're time traveling back to week 8. Week 8 was focused on recovering a sense of courage, and it really just talked about a lot of the ways that we face and deal with failure and just how we move through it and use it for like inspiration for other things to work toward, and then also like just having that sense of courage to go after our dreams, and honestly just having the audacity to even pursue certain things in life, and just going through the motions of just having that sense of courage in order to bring our dreams to a reality, and to finding like the steps that we need to take to get to that dream, and not allowing the fear or the doubt to cause us to deter or give up on our dreams. I've been going through like a lot of life transitions currently, so that's also why I'm just kind of all over the place. It has like they're all good transitions, but also it's just a lot at one time. So I'm very tired and drained. I literally just got home from work a little bit ago, and I was like, I still need to do my recap, and we're getting ready to move into week 10 this weekend, so I need to go ahead and do my recap for week 8 so that I can do the recap for week 9 later on. But when it came to me really like looking into my dreams and how they've allowed me to, or at least the Artist Way has really allowed me to have more of an introspective look at my dreams, and to really get a better sense of what I desire out of life, and to really see that I deserve positive, good things, and I also deserve to give myself the chance to pursue my dreams, even if they are scary, even if they are surrounded with all this uncertainty. I still deserve, or at least I owe myself, the right to pursue these dreams, and to kind of step out on faith and try something new, and being okay with the potential idea that I might fail, but also reframing the way I look at failure and looking at it from a standpoint of, even though this didn't turn out the way I expected it to, I still gained wisdom or knowledge from the situation, and it allowed me to look at things in a different way. And I feel like that's very applicable to my life right now, with starting a new job and getting ready to move, and just figuring out what the next few months are going to look like, and realizing that even if everything doesn't work out ideally or perfectly, that it's still working out the way it's supposed to, and just trusting in whatever that process looks like. And a lot of that comes from, of course, surrendering and just trusting in God. And that's also something that the Artist Way has really allowed me to look at, just from the standpoint of, I'm just a vessel. I'm just here experiencing whatever it is God wants me to experience, and things are kind of moving through me, whether those are like experiences, emotions, life in general, and just everything else that kind of comes with it. And yeah, just kind of seeing where things lead or take me to. When it comes to just my own personal dreams, a lot of them were centered on, because I guess not really a lot of them. It's two main dreams, and like they're like little dreams sprinkled throughout. But for me, they were just mostly focused on me being more immersed in my sense of creativity, and allow myself to fully commit to being a creative person, which of course I feel like a small step in that journey has been the Artist Way, and just all the different ways that I've been unlearning the self-sabotaging habits and unlearning the self-sabotaging thoughts that keep me from wanting to be creative or to really pursue my creativity, and also just accepting that everything in life is a journey, and it's going to take me some time to get to where I want to be. But first, I have to acknowledge what that end goal is, and to ensure that I'm actually taking the steps to get there. So I know, again, for myself, was like being more of a creative person and fully immersing myself in my creativity, and looking at it from like the standpoint of, the Artist Way is like one of the steps I'm taking on that journey, and then also just being actively writing and actively finding outlets for my creativity is another way that I'm immersing myself in that journey, without the expectation that anything major or like the sky's gonna open up and I'm gonna gain this super creative power and it's gonna allow me to ascend into this next level of creativity. And just accepting that the journey is going to be a long journey because it's a lifelong journey. And it kind of reminds me of so a while back I was looking at this course on Ikigai and I was like learning how just like attaining a sense of purpose and a sense of whatever it is you're supposed to give to the world and whatever you're supposed to be doing in life and finding fulfillment in that thing. And throughout life, you're always gonna have like these different sources of purpose or your ikigai or whatever like your divine aligned role in this world is supposed to be. And that might constantly change throughout your life. And that's just because as humans, as people, we're on this lifelong journey of understanding more of who we are and reaching that sense of being, I guess you could say, but also like the sense of being is just existing. You have to be to become, right? So just like having that mindset, and of course like when I tie that into like the sense of me trying to attain this certain level of creativity or to really fully immerse myself in my creativity and living a more free and full life, I have to do the things that the highest version of Pat or the most creative version of Pat would be doing in order to become that version of myself. So writing on a regular basis, which my morning pages have helped a lot with. And then just finding again these other various outlets for my creativity. So for one, just talking to my camera, getting a touch on like editing here and there, but also having this space where I can express how I'm feeling without the fear or the concern of what other people are thinking, because it's my own little bubble and my own space of being. And then also just reading, which is interesting because I feel like reading is like, they're like little artist dates for myself in a way, because they allow me to kind of escape into another world or into just like more introspective thinking, like if it's a self-help book, but it allows me to kind of escape in a way, and then it refills my creative well and allows me to pull the things that I'm learning from all these different sources of knowledge and pulling into my own creativity. And I also see that reflecting a lot in my morning pages and even like a lot of the synchronicity that I'm seeing in life. And yeah, like I'm just seeing it all unfold in different ways. And I feel like as I've been committing to the artist way and this whole creative recovery journey, it has allowed me to see a lot more synchronicity in my life in general. And I feel like that is a sign that I am on the right path. But again, it is a constant path and a constant journey. And even at this point, we're on week 8. We're toward the end of this creative recovery process. But again, it is a lifelong journey. So just keeping that in mind and reminding myself that I have to constantly do the things that the highest version of myself would be doing, or the most creative version of myself would be doing. So I'm constantly being that person in order to become that person. And that's just a constant feedback loop of creativity and just cultivating the life that I feel like I deserve and that I want, that would fully make me happy. And just fully staying connected to God. I feel like me staying in the Word and staying grounded and meditating, especially with so many moving pieces in my life right now, has definitely allowed me to not get lost in the sauce and to start becoming disconnected from everything, which it's easy for that to happen, especially like when there's a lot going on because you're so immersed in what's happening around you. But it's important for us to stay grounded and stay focused on where we are in life. I know even this past week, there was this really crazy incident happened. It almost made me start to hate MARTA. I don't hate MARTA, I just strongly dislike MARTA. If you live in Atlanta, you know that MARTA is it's an experience. The other day on one of my buses, somebody put out a gun. It was kind of crazy. Nothing ended up happening. It just like a little argument or whatever, and then the dude with the gun ended up walking away, and like the whole rest of my way home, I ended up getting off the bus and just walking the rest of the way home. But the whole rest of my day, I was kind of just ruminating on that could have went really left and how traumatizing the experience was. But also I was just so tired from work because I had just got off of work. So I was already so tired that I couldn't really even process the experience. But after I had to really just sit down and reflect and like lean on the tools that I've been using to kind of move through fear or anxiety or trauma or just any crazy emotional turmoil that I'm going through, and just relying on meditation, prayer, breath work, reading, and just trying to center and ground myself. And after that, I did really just see that things could have been a lot worse, but nothing bad completely happened. And that's because I do feel like there was some like divine intervention going on there. I feel like God was looking out. Shout out to him, because things could have went left, but they didn't. And I'm just grateful for that. We're just counting all the blessings of life, and also just using that as a signifier that God is always working on our behalf, and we have to trust him. And that's why we can't allow fear to rule and run our minds. So even again with like all the fear or doubt or anxiety that I might be feeling around my goals and my dreams, having faith should cause me to want to go after those things even more, and not deter me or cause me to live life scared, because God's always looking out. So things are always going to work out the way they're intended to, in the way that God has called for them to, in the way that they're meant to happen. And so just reminding myself of that has been like a really strong kind of compass in my life right now. And it's been keeping me focused on the positive and not looking at things from like a small lens of negativity, because we don't need that. And yeah, we're just broadening our viewpoint. Life's been working out, got a new job, in a process of moving into a new space soon. So that's exciting. My birthday's coming up. Summer is here. It's warming up. So we're excited for all those positive things and just focusing on that again instead of all the negative. But yeah. So now just for like our actual weekly check-in. Hold on, let me just pull up my little ebook. All right. So, of course, it's like the same questions every week. So, how many days did you do your morning pages? Have you been very tempted to abandon them? How's this experience for you? I didn't write this all down like I usually do, because again, my week has been all over the place. I'm gonna write it down after this video, but yeah. So I did my morning pages 5 out of 7 days last week. I missed 2 because I think both of them were days I had to go. Well, I go to work 5 days throughout the week, but 2 of them were, of course, days that I was getting ready for work, and I just happened to oversleep, and I missed my. Since I have to get ready for work, I have to leave around like 7, 8. I have to get up even earlier to like get ready for work and to actually do my morning pages. And so I'm still getting into the swing of things. So we missed 2 days, but that's okay, because we can't be perfect every time. Of course, we strive to be the best, but 5 was my best for last week. So, hey, we're here. They've been very reflective. I haven't really been tempted to abandon them, but they have gotten a lot shorter since I'm still working on this new schedule and routine with my mornings. But I have still been committing to doing them as much as I can, and I'm proud of myself for that. Again, this is something I'm still going to probably try to carry over into after the Artist Way is completed, because I do enjoy my morning pages. And then did we do Artist Date? So last week I did do my Artist Date. I ended up going to revival at my church. They were having a revival that Friday and Saturday. And at first I was kind of annoyed because I wanted to do my Artist Date on, I wanted to do it on Saturday, but I ended up having to go on Friday instead, because I had to go to work on Saturday for training. And at first it really threw off my schedule, but it kind of synchronized in the right way. And I'm glad I ended up going on Friday instead. So I'll get more to the synchronicity of that in the next question. But I did do my artist day. I went to Revival, got the word in. It was great. So yeah, I haven't been allowing workaholism. Well, that's the next part of the question. Have you been allowing workaholism or other commitments sabotage this practice? No, surprisingly not. And then what? Okay, yeah. What did you do? How did it feel? All right, and then did you experience synchronicity this week? What was it? So my synchronicity was on my way to Revival. I had to leave work at like 5:30, so it was supposed to start at 7. By the time I got there, it was like 7:30. So I was a little late, but they still ended up letting me in, and I was able to get a seat. It was very packed, so I was surprised, but that was some synchronicity. So I was like, I was meant to be here on Friday instead of Saturday, and then the pastor who was preaching was T.D. Jakes, and there was like a period in time where I was really consuming T.D. Jakes' work and stuff, so I feel like this is like some alignment for me because I was like, I didn't know who the pastor was who was preaching on Saturday, so I also feel like God wanted me there for Friday for that reason as well. And then, were there any other issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? No, I haven't had any issues really. Again, I don't really have like any issues with my weekly task or anything, or with my weekly progress. It's more so just adjusting to life and adjusting to all these changes that are going on and not allowing it to throw me off what I have going on. So, yeah, that's it for this week. Next week is focused on, well, I guess technically, this week is focused on recovering a sense of compassion. So, we're going to lock into that and see how that integrates into our creative recovery journey. But that is it for now. Until next week.